Ladies and gentlemen, life is not a straight road. It twists, it turns, it throws you up, it drags you down. Sometimes it breaks you, and sometimes it builds you. But here's the truth. A good life needs some bad memories. Now, I know that sounds strange. We spend so much time trying to avoid pain, trying to forget the things that hurt us, trying to erase the mistakes we made. But let me tell you something. Those moments, the ones you wish never happened, they're the ones that shape you the most. They're the ones that teach you. They're the ones that make you strong. See, success isn't just built on victories, it's built on failures. It's built on pain. It's built on lessons learned the hard way. The scars you carry, those are proof that you survived. The tears you cried, they watered the seeds of your wisdom. The tears you cried, they watered the seeds of your wisdom. The battles you fought, they made you who you are. So tonight I'm here to tell you, don't run from the bad memories. Embrace them. Learn from them. Let them fuel you. Because without them, you don't grow. Without them, you don't rise. Without them, you don't live a truly good life. Now, let's break it down. Pain is the price of growth. Life doesn't hand out wisdom for free. You pay for it. With struggle, with heartache, with pain. Every champion, every leader, every person who ever became something paid the price of growth. You think Michael Jordan became great because he won every game? No, he became great because he lost, because he got cut from his high school team, because he failed, and that failure pushed him to be better. See, pain is not your enemy. Comfort is. Comfort keeps you the same. Comfort keeps you in one place. But pain pushes you. It forces you to change. It forces you to improve. When you hit rock bottom, you don't just sit there. You start climbing. That's growth. Think about your own life. The hardest times, the moments you thought you'd never get through, what did they do? They made you stronger. They gave you wisdom. They showed you who you are. Without them, you wouldn't be the person you are today. So the next time life knocks you down, don't curse it. Don't ask, why me? Ask, what is this teaching me? Because every ounce of pain you endure is an investment in your future strength. You can't avoid pain, but you can use it. You can turn it into power. That's the difference between those who grow and those who don't. So embrace it. Let it shape you. Let it make you better. Failure teaches what success cannot. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to succeed. But success doesn't teach you anything. Failure does. Failure is the greatest teacher in life. But most people are too afraid to sit in its classroom. Think about it. If you won every time, if everything went right for you all the time, what would you learn? Nothing. You wouldn't grow. You wouldn't improve. You wouldn't push yourself beyond what you think is possible. But when you fail, that's when you wake up. That's when you analyze. That's when you get hungry. Every great person has failed. Thomas Edison, thousands of failed experiments before the light bulb. Oprah Winfrey, fired from her first TV job. Steven Spielberg, rejected from film school. The list goes on. But they didn't quit. They didn't let failure define them. See, failure isn't the end, it's the beginning. It's the moment where you get to decide, will I let this break me or will I let this build me? And let me tell you something. If you choose to rise, if you choose to learn, if you choose to keep going, failure stops being something to fear. It becomes something to appreciate. Because the greatest victories in life, they come from the lessons learned in defeat. The darkest moments create the brightest strength. Life is going to hit you hard. There will be moments where you feel like you can't breathe, moments where you don't see a way out, moments where the weight of the world is too much. But those moments, they are the ones that reveal your true power. You don't discover strength in easy times. You discover strength in the fire, in the struggle, in the battle. The darkest nights produce the brightest stars. The hardest times create the strongest people. When you look back on your life, the moments that tested you the most will be the ones you are most proud of overcoming, because you survived, because you endured, because you refused to give up. Pain is temporary, but the strength you gain from it, that lasts forever. Regret is a sign of a life well lived. Regret is something we all try to avoid. We don't want to look back and wish we had done things differently. But let me tell you something, if you have regrets, it means you've lived. It means you've taken risks. It means you've put yourself out there. People who never regret anything are people who never tried, never stepped outside their comfort zone, never dared to chase something bigger. And that's not living, that's just existing. Regret doesn't mean failure. Regret means you were bold enough to make a choice, and sometimes those choices didn't go as planned. Maybe you hurt someone, maybe you made a mistake, maybe you took the wrong road, but at least you moved. At least you didn't sit still while life passed you by. And here's the beautiful thing about regret. It teaches you. It sharpens you. It shows you where you went wrong so you can get it right the next time. The best lessons in life don't come from books or lectures. They come from experience. They come from living, from failing, from learning. So don't fear regret. Don't dwell on it either. Use it. Let it remind you that you are human. Let it remind you that you are growing. Let it remind you that you are writing a story that's real, that's raw, that's full of depth. Because a good life isn't perfect. It's full of lessons learned along the way. Your struggles make your story worth telling. Think about the people who inspire you, the ones who move you, the ones whose stories give you chills. They didn't get there because life was easy for them. They got there because they struggled, because they overcame, because they fought through the darkness and found their way to the light. Nobody wants to hear a story about a person who had everything handed to them, who never had to fight, who never had to push through pain. That's not inspiring. That's not real. What moves people, what changes people, is the story of resilience. The story of a person who was knocked down, who lost everything, who had every reason to quit, but didn't. And guess what? That's your story too. Your struggles are not something to be ashamed of. They are what make you relatable. They are what give you depth. They are what give your life meaning. When you share your pain, when you share your failures, when you show people the battles you fought, you give them hope. So don't wish for a life without struggle. Wish for the strength to turn those struggles into a testimony. Wish for the courage to use your hardships to help someone else. Wish for a story so powerful that when someone hears it, they say, if they made it through, so can I. Because that's what a good life is all about. Not just living for yourself, but using what you've been through to inspire the world. The scars you carry are proof you survived. Look at your scars, the physical ones, the emotional ones, the ones people can't see. Every single one of them tells a story. Every single one of them is proof that you went through something that should have broken you, but it didn't. And now, we live in a world that tells us to cover up our scars, to pretend we're perfect, to act like we've never been hurt. But that's a lie. Perfection is a lie. Strength is not about being untouched. Strength is about being wounded and still standing. Every scar you have means you survived something that tried to take you down. It means you made it through the fire. It means you were tested and you passed. So stop hiding your scars. Stop wishing them away. Wear them with pride, because they are proof of your journey. Proof that you faced pain, faced heartbreak, faced loss, and you came out the other side. The people who try to hide their scars, who act like they've never struggled, those are the ones who are still trapped in their pain. The ones who heal, the ones who rise, they are the ones who say, yes, I've been through hell, but I'm still here. That's what makes life good. Not avoiding pain, but conquering it. Not hiding scars, but wearing them as a badge of honor. Hardship separates the weak from the strong. Life is going to test you. It's going to throw obstacles in your way. It's going to put you in situations where you feel like you're drowning. And in those moments, you will have a choice to break or to rise. Hard times do one of two things. They either crush you or they make you unbreakable. And the difference between the weak and the strong, it's not talent. It's not luck. It's resilience. You see, when things are easy, everybody looks strong. When life is smooth, everybody seems confident. But when things fall apart, that's when you see who people really are. That's when the weak give up and the strong dig deep. And here's the truth. The strongest people you know, they weren't born that way. They were forged in the fire. They were shaped by pain, by hardship, by moments that could have destroyed them, but didn't. Ladies and gentlemen, all of the world looks rich right now, but it wasn't. If life is hard right now, if you're struggling, if you feel like giving up, remember this: the hardship you're facing isn't there to break you. It's there to reveal you. It's there to show you what you're made of. It's there to make you unstoppable. So don't run from the struggle. Embrace it, use it, let it sharpen you. Because at the end of the day, the strongest warriors are the ones who have been through the most battles. A life without struggle is a life without meaning. If you could live a life with no struggle, no pain, no hardship, would you take it? Sounds tempting, doesn't it? But think about it. What kind of life would that be? No challenges to overcome, no lessons to learn, no moments that test your strength. That's not life. That's an illusion. The greatest moments of your life, the moments that changed you, that shaped you, that made you who you are, they weren't the easy ones. They were the ones where you had to fight, where you had to claw your way forward, where you had to dig deep into yourself and find strength you didn't even know you had. A good life isn't about avoiding struggle. It's about finding meaning in it. It's about looking back and knowing that every hardship, every loss, every challenge served a purpose. So don't pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to handle a difficult one. Don't wish for a life without pain. Wish for the wisdom to turn that pain into power. Because in the end, the only life worth living is one where you fought, where you struggled, where you became something greater than you ever thought possible. Suffering unlocks compassion and connection. Pain has a way of changing you. It strips away the things that don't matter and leaves you with something raw, something real. But here's the thing, pain doesn't just change you, it connects you. Think about it. The people you feel closest to in life, they're not the ones you've only shared laughs with. They're the ones who've been there with you in the trenches. The ones who saw you break down. The ones who walked through the fire with you. The ones who didn't just celebrate your victories, but stood beside you in your losses. Suffering teaches you something no classroom ever could: compassion. Because once you've known real pain, you start to see it in others. You start to recognize the hidden battles behind a smile, the silent struggles behind a strong face. You stop judging people so quickly. You stop assuming you know their story. You start listening more. That's why the strongest people, the ones who have been through hell and back, are often the kindest. They don't just sympathize, they empathize. They don't just say, "I understand." They truly mean it. The world is full of people who pretend they have it all together. But real connection, real human connection comes from shared struggle, from the moments where you let down your guard and say, "Me too, I've been there." So don't see suffering as something that isolates you. See it as something that unites you. See it as a bridge. See it as the thing that makes you not just stronger, but more human. Because in the end, life isn't about having it all. It's about helping others carry the weight of their burdens. Because you remember what it felt like to carry yours alone. Your greatest pain can become your greatest purpose. Every person on this earth has been through something. Some loss, some heartbreak, some failure that nearly broke them. And too many people think that pain is just something to survive. But what if it's something to use? Look at the most inspiring people in the world, the ones who make a difference, the ones who change lives. You know what they all have in common? They didn't just survive their pain, they turned it into their purpose. Take someone like Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison. He could have come out bitter, angry, ready for revenge. But he didn't. He took his suffering, his injustice, and turned it into a fight for freedom, for his people, for his country, for the world. Take someone like Malala Yousafzai, a young girl who was shot for wanting an education. She could have lived in fear, stayed silent, but she didn't. She used her pain to become a voice for millions. And you? What are you gonna do with what you've been through? Because here's the truth. Your pain is not just for you. Someone out there needs your story. Someone out there is fighting the same battle you fought. Someone out there needs to see that survival is possible, that hope is real, that they are not alone. You have two choices in life. You can let your pain define you, or you can let it drive you. You can sit in it, dwell on it, let it break you down, or you can rise from it, learn from it, and use it to light the way for someone else. Pain is not the end of your story. It can be the beginning of your purpose if you let it, if you choose to. Ladies and gentlemen, a good life needs some bad memories. Not because we enjoy suffering, but because suffering shapes us. It teaches us. It strengthens us. Pain isn't the enemy. Failure isn't the enemy. Staying the same is. So don't run from the things that hurt. Don't bury your scars. Don't hide your struggles. Wear them. Own them. Let them become part of the fire that fuels you. Because when it's all said and done, the good life isn't the easy life, it's the meaningful one. The one where you didn't just exist, you endured. The one where you didn't just survive, you rose. And that, my friends, is a life worth living.